Where do we begin with a game like Titanfall 2? A game that combines such interesting mechanics. First-person shooting, parkour, and giant fighting robots. Like, genuinely, that is some of the coolest shit I've seen in games. And granted, yes, this is a sequel, there was a first game, but that game didn't really get as much attention because it was a Microsoft exclusive. We all know how exclusives are usually treated. Let's start off everything talking about the campaign of Titanfall 2. The first thing I want to say is I really love the title sequence for this game. You see the beautiful title card, the little slash coming down, and then all of a sudden that slash is actually your drop pod coming from the sky, and then it just turns into the actual scene of him flying through the sky about to land, and then you crash land, and you have to fight for your life. It's amazing, and you immediately jump in, you have no HUD, you're just surviving, trying to make it through, and bam, you get to see the horror of these Titans. One aspect I really do enjoy of the campaign is that every level has its own either gimmick or mechanic that it likes to play around with, and definitely doesn't overstay its welcome. One aspect is how they're designed is some levels are just simple linear levels showing off your skill of being able to parkour, gun down enemies, and use your Titan. While some levels actually loop back on each other multiple times, providing different story elements throughout your adventure. But there is one particular level that did stick out to me that I really loved, and it's about halfway through the game, you end up coming across this damaged facility where it's ruined, you can see something terrible happened here, and only context you have is that
the IMC has multiple scientific research facilities throughout the frontier. However, this particular one is unlike any known to the militia.
Throughout the introduction of the level, you start noticing that you all of a sudden teleport into a lab that looks like the lab you're in, but it's all well done and kept up and looks very normal. Through conversation, you find out that for some very bizarre reason, there are
distortions throughout this facility, and they appear to be causing a rift in time.
There's time travel in this game, question mark? That's really bizarre and weird. How? What's going on? And no, they don't fully explain it, but they do give you this really cool mechanic where you get to time travel within the facility that you're in to basically shadow this guy's operation to see what kind of weapon that the enemy was testing here and to see if they can find it in the now time. Oh wow, man, this gets a little confusing. And to the climax of the level, there's a very cool and very beautiful moment in the game where time stops and you get to see the awe of this game. It's such a beautiful moment where you have to jump over and around and jump through helicopters in midair just so that you can take the past scans of this enemy's super weapon's energy source so you can find it in the now time.
Well done, pilot. Scan complete. As Anderson discovered, the IMC intended...
Man, that level is easily one of the best levels in the entire game. Next to...
Problems are not my concern. Once you have delivered the Ark as per your contract, your payment will be transferred by the IMC.
Just have my money ready. I'll get you your precious cargo, you useless nav.
Yeah, so near the end of the game, you get to use one of the coolest weapon in any first-person shooter, an auto-aim gun. And oh man, the whole situation that leads up to this is really cool, and it shows how the characters, how the man and machine have been able to form such a strong bond with each other and how they have to work with each other to escape this very dangerous situation. Even though BT is wrecked, you're still able to take his core and assist a kit weapon to get yourself out of the situation, which leads to one of the coolest moments where you get to drop down the Titan that you were teased all the way back at the beginning of the game. Finally drop down, you insert BT's core, and he gets up ready to fire, brings out a Gallican gun, you jump into it, and you just go kick some more ass. Oh, and I haven't even talked about the characters of the story mode. Well, the two important characters, Jack Cooper and BT. The situation that brings them to work together is the death of BT's former pilot, Captain Lastimosa, who, while saving Cooper from enemy Titans, ends up dying in the process. The two of them form a compatible bond with each other. And how this is kind of shown within the game is that at certain points where the two of them are talking via comms link, you can decide what Jack says. Now really, neither of them change the outcome of the two characters, but it's just fun to either be a strict army man or kind of just be a cocky jackass who just makes fun quips back at a robot, but the robot, not being really fully humorous, doesn't fully understand that he's making a joke, which in turn is really funny.
How long did you serve with Lastimosa?
Captain Lastimosa linked with me 973 days ago.
Find you and we will track you down one by one.
That's longer than any relationship I've had.
Noted.
There's a really fun character moment that you get to see with BT where in one level he gets captured by a claw. As you're transitioning to the levels, you get to see BT's transmission log saying, "Eric, can't release myself from these from the clutches or something," and then it's like attempt 3, attempt 4, attempt 5. After the next level, when you get into the next loading section, you see again BT attempt 72, attempt 73, attempt 74, and it's funny. It's just all these little fun humorous cues that just gives BT such a fun character to care for, while also giving Cooper not just a plain army face, but a little bit more of a personality behind that strictly army man kind of persona. They're not just man and machine, it is brothers in arms, partners in crime, the essentially dynamic duo. In the later half of the game, there's a massive ravine that Cooper needs to get over. BT notices that there's no easy way to get over there, so he almost assumes that it's near impossible to make it over safely. Cooper brings up the idea of, why don't you just throw me? Fastball me, essentially. BT, worried it would hurt another pilot of his and may even kill him, seems pretty sketch about the idea, however, trusts Cooper's intuition and agrees with the idea. Hi, it's Maitre during the editing. I accidentally got this whole part kind of turned around. It actually turns out that BT is the one that recommends the throw, and Cooper's the one who puts himself in BT's trust. But, I mean, still kind of, brings the same point. It doesn't matter. It's a genuinely really cool moment to show that these two characters have matured and trust each other enough to put oneself literally in the other one's hands. They even do this technique a few more times in the game, i.e. when BT fastballed Cooper from one flying ship to another.
Good luck.
And this all culminates in a very good character moment near the end of the game, spoilers I guess, where BT and Jack Cooper know that the only way to destroy the weapon is to shoot themselves into the core and blow themselves up. Jack, fully knowing this risk, he jumps in with BT, confident that this is probably his last moment alive. While they're launching, you see BT bring up his protocols, which third protocol is always protect the pilot, where you see BT eject Cooper out and throw him into the air so he doesn't die, which is such a great moment. Now, let me real briefly talk about the cons, or at least my nitpicks. For one, Cooper has one special ability where he can go stealth, but temporarily, but he can be detected super easily, so it kind of almost becomes redundant, and you never really have to use his stealth ability because there's never really a moment in the game where you're forced into a stealth section. But why not give us other abilities? Like, there's a whole bunch of abilities in the multiplayer that you get to use. Why not experiment with those in each of the levels? The story as a whole was pretty solid. The characters were a lot of fun. The only real antagonist that was slightly interesting was Blisk, given the opportunity to kill you at the end of the game, doesn't, and then teases you for a sequel, but he puts down a very specific card that all of us would recognize at this point, hinting that there would be a sequel to this game. Okay, so now we're on to the multiplayer. There's a wide variety of abilities that you can unlock, or you can purchase with in-game credits, a la back to the old days of online shooters where to unlock things you just played the game. You didn't have to put more money into the game or run microtransactions. It's legitimately a good system. It's really fun. It keeps me coming back over and over again to play the game and just enjoy it. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to make this video, is that surprisingly enough, 4 years later, this game is still going strong. There's still a strong enough player base on both PC and console where you can jump into a game and enjoy yourself. Nothing feels overpowered due to the game's balance of being able to take on titans even as just a simple pilot running around. The game's level of quote-unquote complexity is definitely deeper than some multiplayer shooters nowadays, and it's great. You have so much customization in your pilot, i.e. being able to choose from a wide selection of abilities, guns, camo, which is more just for the fun of it. The game just always feels so fresh. Now, the Titan progression. The Titan progression is actually pretty good. You get access to most of the Titans. All of them are pretty well balanced, have their own attributes that you can work around, and provide their own playing style. And that's something that I really do enjoy. It doesn't just give you the complexity of building your own pilot with his special abilities and attributes, it also gives you the opportunity to customize a Titan. It's like having 2 playable characters at a time. And the coolest part about the game is, even though you summon your Titan, you don't have to jump into it immediately. It just goes on and acts as another separate character. I almost want to say this is like the last poster child of online shooters. Now take this with a grain of salt. I think Titanfall 2 was one of the last online shooters that, you just got to play fairly. You don't ever have to worry about someone else paying more money and getting items that would beat you straight up. But with my final closing thoughts, I really do hope that game developers and designers can look at how this game was made and kind of use it use it as the blueprint of how to kind of bring back the multiplayer game design. It's simple, it's fun, it's not overly complicated, it's deep. On top of that, it's not egregiously monetized. You're able to buy the game and just play the game and enjoy it. I really do love Titanfall 2. It's genuinely one of my favorite first-person shooters. And I really hope this video got to shine a light on how good this game was in its heyday and how it's still kind of holding up nowadays. Also, I'm gonna be honest right now, if I've slightly convinced you at all, if you have the game, play it right now. Don't even think otherwise. This game can work on my PC, and my PC is an actual toaster. But with everything said, this has been my thoughts and opinions and a little bit of a retrospect on Titanfall 2. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you like this video, I guess leave a like. I really could care less. Subscribe if you want. I mean, that's a thing. If you like that, totally do it. I mean, if not, that's cool too. But if you don't, at least consider checking back, I don't know, maybe every week or 2, let's say 2 weeks, because I'm really really bad at making videos, and maybe, I don't know, we'll talk about some other game. Also, little thing, if you have any recommendations for me for games, let me know. I got a whole backlog of games I'm playing through the quarantine, but not against playing some games anyone would recommend. Alright, well, this has been Maytrade. Hope you all have a good day. Stay inside, wash your hands, and be safe. Bye, cuties.